Next on Defending Life, we will discuss the largest mobilization of women who regret their abortion and how they are changing hearts and minds on abortion. Hello, I'm Janet Morana, Executive Director of Priests for Life and co-founder of the Silent No More Awareness Campaign. I'm here today joined by our Associate Director, Father Denis Wilde. Welcome to our program, Father Denis.
Great to be here, Janet.
And I know you've been with Priests for Life for quite a long time, since I believe 1998.
98, that's correct. About 750 venues, schools and parishes. Love it all. It's a great way to see the way the fabric of the country and the faith is and how people stand up for life. That we don't recognize this. When you put it all together, it's a powerful factor.
That's right. Well, as always, we like to begin our program with prayer, and we have here our pro-life reflections for every day written by Father Frank Pavone, and also available at Priests for Life. I know I find this very inspirational every day. The first is a quote from Mother Teresa: "The greatest destroyer of peace is abortion. You have heard people say that being wrong on abortion outweighs being right on other issues, and that is correct. The full truth is, if you are wrong on abortion, you can't be right on other issues. To permit abortion, but then to cry out for the right to work, housing, education, healthcare, and peace, is to say that these other rights belong to some people, but not to all."
Lord, forgive our nation for allowing all the rights of the unborn to be taken away.
Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Well, of course, Father, today's topic is very near and dear to my heart. It's an update on the Silent No More Awareness Campaign, which I co-founded with Georgette Forney of Anglicans for Life. And actually, Georgette and I first conceived of the idea all the way back in 2002, as the pro-life movement was looking forward towards the 30th sad memorial of Roe v. Wade. We were pondering about what should the message be, and we felt the time was right for women to speak who had had abortions. And of course, we did a little research with our pregnancy centers and post-abortion healing programs and found that there really are women who've come through healing and are ready to speak. And of course, since we had our first events in January of 2003 in front of the Supreme Court, and the campaign's been growing. 2012 marked our 10th anniversary of gatherings around the country and in front of the Supreme Court after the March for Life, so we've been blessed.
I'm sure a lot of people are asking, well, why are people doing this? Why are they out in the streets carrying these signs? I mean, they could be home and doing other things and whatever else. And, you know, oftentimes I see that when I'm at an abortion center, and people say, oh, get a job, or, you know, and what you're doing here is saving a life. You're trying to influence people. So in this case, we're talking about people who themselves have had abortions.
That's right.
Why are they out in the streets telling this to other people? Well, you know, I go back to the scriptures and to see this. Think about St. Paul. Think about Mary Magdalene. I mean, these are two of the greatest components of the early church. Very important, because Mary Magdalene was the one who went to the tomb and saw Jesus. I mean, it wasn't to the greatest, even Peter had to come later on. But Mary Magdalene, why did Jesus choose her? Because I believe he wanted to show that forgiveness, and that's the key thing here. It's not that people are parading their signs around the street. It's because God has touched them in such a very strong way. And they realize that they have a responsibility. So it's two things. One, that they're forgiven. And number two, that they have an obligation, as we all do, to help those who have no voice in this, or who are confused, or have been handed a bill of goods which is really a lie. And that, of course, is the abortion rights idea. It's not that at all, obviously. So these are women who are coming out, mothers. They're all mothers. We must remember that, who have come out, and they are telling, I regret my abortion. I think it's a great thing. Mary Magdalene was a sinner, but she had to get to a certain point in her life where she could come forth and express that sinfulness, and Jesus forgave her for it.
Well, Jesus is always here to forgive, no matter how many abortions.
It's really, it's not, you know, that's right. It is not the person who has done everything right in their life. Nobody's done it except the Blessed Mother, of course. But, you know, it's not that greatest saint that's the one that's called out here. And why is St. Paul? What did he say? In the Acts of the Apostles, he says, breathing murderous threats against those Christians, those people who were following this man Jesus, and he was rolling up his sleeves to persecute and throw him into prison.
Right.
And then later on, he says, I live no longer myself, but Christ in me. Wow, what a transformation.
That's right.
And so this is what it's all about for every one of us. And these people are, the men and women, mothers and fathers in this movement, of course, but they are showing forth really the power of that forgiveness and what
That's
it can
right.
do to change lives. It's, again, not what we've come from, it's where we're going to that matters. Isn't that it?
That's it, Father.
We believe the resurrection of the body, the life everlasting.
Right. Well, and we've totally revamped our website now. It's a new look. And what we have now is an opportunity for people to just register their regret anonymously. Because, when people come through healing, everyone's in a different place. Maybe they're not ready to write a testimony. Maybe they're not ready to speak. Well, they can come to our website and just, with a simple click, I regret my abortion. They can just put their first name in their state. And you might say, well, why do we want to do that? It's to lend a voice to those who are speaking. Because, like, for instance, one of our regional coordinators, say Jackie Stolnaker, who's from Birmingham, Alabama, matter of fact, if there's other women from this area who even regret anonymously, she can then say, well, I'm just one of fill in the blank, 100 women in this community who regret their abortion.
And that gives support to everybody else who's already struggling to do this. They can't do it yet, but they hear it, I'll do that, and I'd be able to come in on this.
Exactly. Now, some women, might say, well, I want to join the campaign, so they can do that too. They can, again, come to the website and fill out the form and tell us about their experience. And then what we'll do is we'll connect them, if they haven't gone through healing, with one of our regional coordinators in their community, and we'll help them find healing. And then we take them through a process because, the women just don't even get up and hold that sign unless they've gone through certain steps.
Tell me, tell the people why they fill out a form. What's the value of that?
Well, they fill out the form, first of all, to tell us a little bit about their abortion and then if they've gone through healing or not. Because if they haven't gone through healing, one of the first things we want to do is to get them to a healing program in their community so that they can have that feeling, like you were saying, Father, of forgiveness.
Right, and it also ratifies what they're about thinking. Their thinking is one way, and now they're putting it in writing, and that is a very important thing, and especially when they're holding that sign, that's almost like an extension of that form, because it says, I have done this, and I want the people to know.
Right. Now, if they have, filled out the form and they want to speak publicly, then we have to make sure that they've also told their family. Because you're not going to stand there holding a sign if you haven't told your parents, your spouse, your children about your abortion, because we don't want to have any problems.
And they can find out some other way, unfortunately, on the internet or through Facebook or something, somebody finds out, so they have to do it and take care of it.
Well, something, I want to take a break right now, because when we come back, I want to invite you, our viewers, how you can get involved, become regional coordinators for the Silent No More Awareness Campaign. Stay tuned.
When I found out I was pregnant, I thought I would lose my job.
My boyfriend told me to choose between him and the baby.
I worried about staying in school.
I was already struggling to care for one child.
My parents told me I wasn't ready to be a mom, so I had an abortion.
I had physical problems afterwards.
I went from relationship to relationship.
I hated myself.
I started to have nightmares.
I cried when I saw a pregnant woman.
I tried to commit suicide.
I couldn't bond with the child I later had.
I tried to numb my pain with alcohol.
I struggled with depression.
I had trouble conceiving again.
You see, abortion didn't solve our problems.
It just created different ones.
Each of us thought we were the only ones struggling afterward.
Now we realize many women regret their choice.
That's why we are Silent No More.
We found help in healing, and you can too. Call or go online today.
Welcome back to our program where we're discussing the Silent No More Awareness Campaign. Well, Father, what we were saying about they come on the website and if they need healing, well, then we try to find them healing in their community. But how we do that is we have regional coordinators. And what we're asking our viewers right now is pray about becoming a regional coordinator for the campaign. Because while we have in several states, several regional coordinators, covering a certain area, a certain number of counties. We have some states, unfortunately, Father, where we don't have that kind of help. And then the national office, we have to pick up that slack. So it's far better when there's a regional coordinator in their community for the campaign to help these men and women who are seeking healing, to get them to those resources. And we help them do all that. We have training with this manual I have here. If they're praying about being a regional coordinator, they can first call or email us at mail@silentnomoreawareness.org. We'll give them some information. They can pray about it. If they think they want to do it, we put them through this training. It's very simple. And basically what happens is we get the names through the internet, we send it to them, and then they make that first communication. And they've already have now the information. If there's a Rachel's Vineyard Retreats in their area, if there's Project Rachel, maybe there's a Bible study program like Forgiven and Set Free. They become the local ambassadors to help these men and women find healing.
And I suppose getting familiar with the churches and what they're doing as well is
exactly.
important.
Yes, and that's what we have to read, because they're like the boots on the ground.
Right.
They can go and visit each of the all denominational churches in their area to find out, do you have a post-abortion healing program? And they let us know at the national office, and we put that in our resource bank. We have the largest really resource on our website where you can put in your zip code and see what are the healing resources in your area. But the thing we need desperately, Father, is more regional coordinators. And you don't have to have had an abortion in order to be a regional coordinator. One of our shining examples is Mike Stack out in Michigan, and he does not only a regional coordinator for Silent No More, he's also on a Rachel's Vineyard team. And so I want our viewers to understand that if you have a heart for this kind of a ministry, to bring healing to those who are hurting, and we know, Father, after so many abortions in our nation, there are many people out there who think it's the unforgivable sin still, and we have to be ambassadors of that healing message. So I want to invite our viewers, to do that. And then, once they've been a coordinator on level 1, they can move into other levels.
And it's important to know that the people who are volunteering to do this are not doing the spade work. That has been done, and so much of it is, look at this manual, there's so much in it. So if they just follow the process of it, they're going to go a long way in it. Also, post-communion prayer, post-communion talk could be a possibility, for them to really, engender into the community the need to help people. I think this is where we really touch people and the healing level of abortion.
Right. Well, with touching people too, Father, before we close this segment, I'd like to introduce to our viewers a beautiful song that was written for the campaign. It's a Silent No More Awareness campaign, and it's actually been done now to a music video. It was written by a dear friend of ours, Jamie Owens Collins, and it's actually very inspirational. And the woman who is singing it is also a woman who's had abortion and gone through healing. So let's take a look right now. And after that, we're going to come back. After that song, we're going to go right to our break and come back, and we'll answer questions from our viewers and have our action. So let's look at the Silent No More Awareness campaign song.
In my fear, I believed a lie all those years. I was trying to hide away, ashamed of the light of day. Made a choice, thinking I'd be free, but that choice, it imprisoned me in my shame. Till I stepped into the light of God's love, the healing began. I'm free from the shame, I'm healed of the pain. I will be silent no more. I'm free from the lies, love opens my eyes. I will be silent no more. Love broke through to the heart of me. Now the truth has come and set me free from the past. When I stepped into the light of God's love, forgiven at last. I'm free from the shame, I'm healed of the pain. I will be silent no more. I'm free from the lies, love opens my eyes. I will be silent no more. There is power in my
Welcome back to our program. And you know, Father, that Silent No More song was very inspirational, isn't it?
It's beautiful. Yeah.
And if any of our viewers would like that to play at their pregnancy banquets or any of their events or in their churches, they can just contact us at Priest for Life and we'll get a copy to them. But now, Father, let's turn to a question from our viewers. This question today comes from Danielle from Wilmington, Delaware, and she writes, what can I do to help promote pro-life political responsibility in my parish and maybe my entire diocese?
Well, thank you, Danielle, for your question. First, we invite you to read and study our study guide on living the gospel of life. This study guide can be used in the parish as a group activity as well. Also, if you visit our election website, politicalresponsibility.com, you'll be able to learn all the parameters of what the church says and of what the parish is allowed to do. Simple bulletin inserts and homily hints are a good way to start. It is always a good idea to have something in the literature rack like our booklet, Voting with a Clear Conscience. A bigger step would be to suggest a voter registration drive in the parish. In other words, at the end of Mass, people who are not registered or who have moved since the last time they registered could be given the opportunity to fill out the voter registration form in the vestibule of the church. The parish can also sponsor a Get Out the Vote effort. This simply means helping people to get to the polls to vote. The parish can remind those who will not be in town on election day to fill out their absentee ballots. One never knows. It is a responsibility to do that. It is especially important to bring the attention of the homebound. The parish website can be used to share a lot of information. Also, the parish is allowed to inform parishioners of the positions of the candidates on the issues in a neutral way. Priest for Life produces voter guides that are legally qualified for this purpose. Again, you can find those on politicalresponsibility.com. Thanks for your question. At any time, you can go to askfatherfrank.com to send us more questions.
Well, thank you, Father, and that is an important question. And I want our viewers to know that every day at our office we have a wonderful public outreach department, and they answer their emails, their snail mail, and phone calls. So any day, all year long, we're standing by to help our viewers with their questions. Well, and then, Father, with the Silent No More Awareness campaign, we did have some resources that people can use, right, in their parish literature rack or in pregnancy centers. Why don't you?
Again, they're all the symbol of the butterfly, and the butterfly is a symbol of the resurrection. It's a symbol of new life, because obviously this is what was happening in the lives of these people whose lives were truncated. Number one, Silent No More Awareness just talks about the campaign itself, the meaning behind it, the reason behind it, the rationale. The second one is what's so bad about abortion, and gleaning the ideas from the mothers who have had the abortions and other people reading about this. This is not just hearsay. This is good background literature. And in 10 different reasons, 10 different points indicating why. For example, abortion affects women spiritually. Many women turn away from God or fear a greater power because deep down inside they know they have taken the life of another human being, their baby. It's one of the reasons, not the whole reason, but a big reason why people are not coming to church. We need to pray for those people too. This explains many things in there. Partners in healing. We need to have, again, to reach out beyond the one area, to go to other areas, people who are doing pro-life work, and to help them out and to be helped by them. And also pregnancy centers are important areas to visit, to be able to connect with them as well. And so, Janet, there might be some other areas in that.
Well, absolutely, Father. It's meant for people to partner with the campaign. They can put a link to our website, and like you just said, pregnancy centers, churches, Right to Life groups can all partner with the campaign to get more of that voice of testimony out there in their community.
Don't be afraid to go to your churches and ask people to do this, because you'd be surprised how many people
well, so many people, Father, are hurting in the pews.
They're hurting already. They need to have this
word
come out.
Exactly.
Absolutely. And then what comes next? Perhaps you want to explain a little bit of
This
that.
is a great brochure for post-abortion healing programs, because very often a person's gone through a Rachel's Vineyard program, they feel the joy of the Lord and that forgiveness, but they want to do something. This gives practical suggestions. So anyone who runs an abortion recovery program, or for priests in reconciliation, can give that to a person, and it kind of puts them through the steps of coming to the campaign, registering regret, and so on. And then, of course, Father, we also can use the Facebook and social media now to get out the message of the campaign and all our pro-life work, correct? So in Priests for Life, we have our fan pages. Father Pavone has a fan page. The campaign has a fan page. We have Sacerdotes por la Vida, our Spanish outreach on Facebook. So we're on Facebook and Twitter, and I encourage our viewers. Very often we complain that we can't get our message in the newspaper. They don't prick my letter to the editor, or I can't get a commercial on TV. We have the social media now, so it's a whole new world has opened up for us. And I know you, Father, too. You tweet and you do Facebook and you post things on our Priests for Life fan page too, and we get response. You know, and people feel like, I know even while taping these programs, you've been taking pictures and telling our viewers what's going on, and people feel connected. And that's the very important thing, that we in our pro-life work connect on Facebook and use social media for the good, because if we don't use it for the good, you know, other people are going to use it for bad. Well, Father, I think we've had a lively discussion here today. I want to thank you once again for joining us. And brothers and sisters, I'd like to invite you to invite Father Denis to come to your community. In addition to preaching, Father does pro-life concerts. Of course, Father Frank Pavone and Father Victor Salomon of our Hispanic outreach are available. In addition, Dr. Alveda King of our African American outreach. We have Brian Kemper with Stand True Ministries, our youth division, and many others on our pastoral team want to come to your community to serve you, speak at your banquets, give parish missions, whatever you need, we're here to serve. Also, too, I'd like to make you aware that we have mass cards, both for the living and deceased. We'll send you as many as you need, absolutely free of charge. And of course, you make the donation when you need it to send a card to someone. So they're free of charge, living and deceased mass cards here at Priests for Life. And finally, resource, this brochure, Addressing Abortion with Confidence, Advice for Your Clergy, again, absolutely free. Contact us at Priests for Life. We're blessed to have you a part of our mission and part of our ministry. And stay tuned next week to join us again on Defending Life. Thank you, and God bless you.